Hey, hey, hey! Happy Wednesday! It is not Thursday, so this is a day early. And this is really funny. I'm just going to wait a second for a couple people to jump on. It's all my fault. You guys are gonna, this is really, it's funny, but also, I mean, it's kind of true. So anyways, I just wanted to give a report on Brutus. Brutus came home today. He has been away at a 2-week training, and I would get these pictures and I would get videos and all of this stuff, updates from the trainer, and I was just so blown away and just so grateful that he's learning all of these things, and grateful that we have the means to send him to something like that. It's a pretty big investment, and then we'll have a full year of follow-ups and classes to do, and it's a really good thing. So anyways, I go to pick him up today, and also I wanted to just point out that since we got home from Punta Cana and Brutus was gone, AJ in the last 5 days or so has really shifted into just behaving really well, and being on his best behavior, and like getting dressed before being asked, and it was a hassle. Like, I was starting to feel so super overwhelmed, and I was starting to feel like I wasn't doing this whole like single deployment parenting working thing right, because I'm like, why in the world, like, won't he just listen, or like, what is it with the dog, and all of these things. And so anyways, while Brutus was gone the last week or so, AJ's been doing really great. We had another chat about how he needs to be a big boy helper, and we're a team and we have to work on the same team, and if he can just do certain things while, like, if he can get dressed while I'm getting dressed, that's going to make everybody's life so much easier, right? And it worked. It was awesome. So I went to go pick up Brutus while AJ was at school today, and he was just showing me all this stuff. I go in there and Brutus is up. We can tell him to place, and he'll go on any object, and and then he just was sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just sitting there. Like, I can't believe this dog. It's a whole new dog. He's a brand new dog. He's doing so awesome. And anyway, so we're going through the training stuff, and I some things as we were talking, I realized, like, oh man, so I actually might be the reason why a lot of the misbehavior goes on, right? So Brutus was thrown from a car, and my friend down in Texas had him and had him vetted, and all of that good stuff, had him chipped and stuff. And so 2 days later I flew down and got him, and so of course I was like so excited and so in love with him, and so like I felt bad for him because he had been thrown from a car. And so I'm overly hands-on with AJ and with Brutus. Like, we just have a very close bond, touchy-feely bond, and not that other people don't, but I do see a lot of people that don't have that, or like like, it's just my instinct to kind of get down on the ground and like put my hand on the back or whatever. Or with Brutus, it's like booty, whatever. And so I started to realize as we were sitting there talking, that I'm like, oh my gosh, some of this is totally my fault, of like probably why AJ doesn't listen, and probably why Brutus doesn't listen. And I just kept saying, like, they're both really driven. Well, no, it's because I get, when I started working with Brutus at the facility, it's like, come on, Rudy, come on, like, and the guy's like, you can just like use your normal voice. And so then I'd be like, come, Brutus, come, and he's like, no, like, you can just talk, like, you can just talk like how you normally talk. And I'm like, but I always talk a certain way. Like, I always have this excitement in my voice, or I always, and he's like, I know, I can tell. And so anyways, Brutus did really well the first few days that he was there. And then, Brudy, come here, down. And then he was telling me how he started to get anxiety, like his anxiety was coming through, and and all that stuff. And my response was, "Aw, like AWWWWWW, poor buddy, he probably misses us." And so he didn't say anything then. It was funny because we would like oftentimes be talking, and then I would say something and then he wouldn't respond. And so then today when we were talking, he's like, "Yeah, like when I told you about his like anxiety and how we'd figured out, and you were like, oh, he's like, I just went, oh, and he's amazing. He's great." He sent me many pictures of Brutus cuddled up on his couch with him and stuff like that. So he definitely loved Brutus. He's got a lot of dogs that he works with that are, very aggressive and like stuff like that. So I think he did tell me that like Brutus was a breath of fresh air, but I think a lot of the reasons why, and especially with me, it's like I always joked about, like, it wouldn't ever have to be like, oh, wait until your dad gets home. It's like, wait until your mom gets home, right? But I'm such a sucker. Like, I am such a sucker for the dog and AJ. So as much as I try to like, set ground rules and stuff like that, it's like they've got me won over. So anyway, so we're at the place and Brutus was doing really, really, really well, and I was so excited to pick AJ up from school. To pick AJ up from school and like get Brutus home. And then as soon as all three of us were home, it was like chaotic again, right? Like Brutus was doing great because we had worked with all of the lessons, if you will, at the training center. And so one other thing is when Brutus was first sent there, the guy was like, "Yeah, he's a little out of shape actually." And I'm like, "Oh." So he's thinned out a little bit, and he said the thing is that when you're doing he's like, you don't have to like take him on a 5-mile run to calm him down. He's like, now you'll be able to take him out front and just work on some of these things with him outside. And like, him using his brain and learning and knowing what he has to do is going to calm him down too. So anyways, we got home and Brutus was just tired. Like, he was ready to lay down, but then AJ started acting up, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So basically what's been happening since I brought Brutus home is the both of them have always been just kind of fighting for that attention. So I always say that they're like brothers, or like AJ will say that Brutus is his best friend, but they definitely also like want the attention, my attention, especially if another one's getting attention. Or if like in the morning, for instance, Brutus just comes downstairs with me to do meditation and like work out, like I can do all of that and he'll just be by my side. But the second he hears AJ coming downstairs, he's like right here. Like if AJ tries to run up to me, he like cuts it off. So I think that that's what's going on, but it's good. I think this all happened at like such a good time. Like it was such good timing because, he was there while we were gone in Punta Cana. AJ and I had like, while we were in Punta Cana, it's like an 11-hour travel day for just him and I on the front end and the back end of the vacation. So like vacation was great, but that travel time was just like stressful, and the couple of days getting back into our routine at home were a little bit stressful, but it's been great this whole second week. So I don't know, a lot has like, light bulbs are going off today as I'm like, oh my goodness. He's like, you can't like be outside and training with him and be kind of firm or using your regular voice, but then be like, he's like, you gotta just like tone it down. And I was like, oh, I'm like, so this could actually like work for my kid and my dog. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for the growth with all of us. Like I said, I'll be able to go to the weekly trainings with Brutus, and I probably will do that alone because it'll be an hour a week. And so I'll be able to dedicate that time with just Brutus. And I think what I'll do also is he said that I should work with him 1 to 2 hours a day. So I'll always do one of those hours with AJ and Brutus. What happened was like we got home and I was trying to show AJ some of the cool stuff that he can do now. And I was like, but you have to let mommy do it. And AJ just like, of course he wanted help. And it probably was not super smart on my end to like introduce that to AJ right away. Cause when I'm not working with him, he's cool to just hang out. Like he's just, right now he's laying on the couch, on his little spot on the couch. But when I'm working with him, I'll have to be the one to work with him at first. But it's cool because I also was like, okay, so I can work with him and AJ. Brutus is really, really good with AJ on the leash. Like, he won't pull him at all. But all of this that I'm learning now with the dog is definitely going to, I think, transfer like over to AJ as well. So I'm excited to see and to like just keep a little, not, I mean, I guess I would say firmness, right? Like, keep my foot down a little bit. AJ's got me wrapped around his finger where as much as I want to deny it, it just is how it is. So anyways, in this home from now on, everybody's going to be calm. We're going to be team players. We're all going to work together, right? It's going to go beautifully, right? That's the plan anyways. So I will keep you guys updated with that, at least on a few day basis, or at least when I'm doing my videos, I'll just give you a little bit of an update of how everything's going with the training at home. And yeah, if you need a recommendation or know anybody that does, I am very, 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 very satisfied with the training that Brutus got, and I'm very excited about the relationship moving forward. So anyways, thanks for jumping on, but just a little bit of food for thought. You know, a lot of this behavior and non-listening probably might be stemming from some of us mommies. Have a good day.